Hi guys, this is Noor, the host of the IB Odyssey podcast. I hope you're having a great day so far. So, I hope also that you've seen the first part of this, well, you can consider it as a mini series where I'm just discussing the IB MYP personal project. In the first episode, we went through the criteria. There are three, we broke them down. We also discussed the process journal and how to write the report. Today we're going to be discussing tips and tricks to score better. Of course, you have to, follow through the guidelines. You have to follow through the criteria, what the criteria is asking, the evidences per criteria have to be supporting and justifying whatever you're writing in the report. But you also have to, kind of elevate all of that by some of the things you can do to really make it all pop out, if that makes sense. It's like you have this thing, right? It's not shiny. You have glitter on it. It's shiny. Boom. Oh. Okay, I'm just being silly. Anyways, these tips and tricks are kind of what helped me score a high 7. I scored a 23 out of a 24. If you guys want, you can DM me on Instagram. The account's name is the IB Odyssey podcast, so you can DM me there and I can share my report with you guys. I can email it to you or whatever. But anyways, so let's just start up with the tips. The first tip is to make a lot of tables so that the information is clear and organized. You have to make a lot of tables anyways. This could be through to-do list. You can also put a screenshot of the to-do list if you made it on the notes app or you wrote it down somewhere on a journal. You can take a picture and upload that. But tables, they're so important because tables help to bring out the information. It helps to bring the information forward and it helps to convey the information much more efficiently. So when you have a table, for example, you're making a timeline. You're going to make a timeline. You're going to make phases. So part 1 or phase 1 is research. Then you're going to give an explanation of what you're going to do in this phase, and then the timeline, and then you can have a checklist or a to-do list literally incorporated by showing a tick or an X or something that did you do this or did you not do this. It's actually like a checklist option on Google Documents, on Google Docs, so you can use that as well. So again, make a lot of tables. Tables are so important. Definitely help to bring out the information and to help convey it more efficiently. So don't miss out on tables. Make as many as you can. You can also color coordinate each table for them to really stand out, and so they don't kind of like blend together. That's what I did in my report, and that's what I did for my design e-portfolio, and I do think it kind of helps. So next thing we have is to have a lot of supervisor meetings. So your supervisor and you should have like a good bond, a good connection with each other. And I say this because your supervisor is going to help make your predicted grade. They're going to help you write the report, well, not literally write the report, but help give you feedback. They're going to give you suggestions. All of this is really important. If you don't meet your supervisors in some capacity, your product will lag, because these people, they've been doing personal project supervision for a lot of years. They're experienced with getting you a good grade. Same goes with the personal project coordinator. You should have frequent check-ins with them as well as your supervisors to understand where you can take this forward and how you can bring it to a bigger and better level. Quite literally, like the level you're gonna get, but also, is your report just meh? Is it okay-ish? Or is it actually really good? Is everything documented well? Is it detailed enough? They're going to check your report and they're going to tell you where you should make tweaks, where you could add in stuff. If you add in something that's not relevant, they'll also help you identify that, because at the end of the day, you only have 15 pages. So you need to incorporate criteria A, B, and C with the evidences in these 15 pages, and You want to get to the point. You don't want to circle around it and then come to it. You just want to get to the point, and they can help you to also make the point much more brilliant, well organized, well written, because that's again what's going to help you score better. So your supervisors are a great resource to use. Definitely go to them. If your school doesn't do supervisors, which I don't think that's the deal. I think every school does personal project supervise. I think it's a requirement from the IB, because the IB has a literal document of your supervisor meetings, minutes of the notes. They have a document that you have to fill. It, I believe, goes to the IB once the project is being uploaded to their portal. So, do that. Okay, the next step is much easier said than done, but that is to don't procrastinate. What I did was, my school gave us the time to work on our personal project from MYP 4 to MYP 5 onwards. We had 2 years to do it, but I hardly did anything in MYP 4, and I did everything in MYP 5. And I kid you not, at some point, every personal project lesson that we had, I would be getting a heart attack, literally. I would be stressing out so much. And learn from my mistake. If your school starts it fairly earlier, or whenever you guys start the personal project, just start with it. Literally, be ahead of the game. Be ahead of the school schedule. And I say this because once you're done with the report, the only thing left is getting the feedback. The more the time you have on getting the feedback, of course, don't rush through your report. Write it properly with good amount of time given to it, with good thought and focus given to it. But if you work fairly faster, you will get more time to, make effective and much more critical changes to it that are needed. So if you procrastinate and if you're just delaying it, then you're not probably going to secure that level 7. And trust me, you need to work on your personal project and your e-portfolio to such an extent that you secure a 7 no matter what. Of course, the boundaries, they change all the time, I guess. I'm not really that aware of this, like what the boundaries are each year, but you need to make sure you get the work to the top-notch level, because when you give your MYP 5 e-assessments, you'll probably get anxiety that, oh my god, these are like my first, or something along the lines of my first external exams. Isn't that scary? Like, they're going to the IB and the IB is gonna check it and send it back, and you're gonna get anxiety mid-exam. This could be an exam for chemistry, physics, INS, whatever, and you're gonna kind of flunk a bit if the anxiety really hits. But personal project and e-portfolio, they're like extra marks. They're like credit, If you really work, really hard on these, you can secure a level 7 in some, these 2 projects, which will give you 14 points out of 56. Because if, if you're really weak in one subject, or if you kind of mess up 1 or 2 exams, then they can help improve your grade average or your overall score. So I really suggest working hard on these, because again, it's really hard to ace every exam and get every 7, but with personal project and e-portfolio, you're able to work on them for a couple months. So again, don't procrastinate. Do as much as you can for them. Make sure they're very elaborate and very detailed. That is gonna help you score so much better. My next advice is that if you start in MYP 4, then utilize your summer break and your winter break. Or if you start in MYP 5, then utilize your winter break. These and your spring break, if it stretches out that far. But see, this is when you have ample of time. Of course, a lot of students have internships and stuff, but literally over even the weekends, whenever you find time, utilize it. Work on the project. Have an online meet with your supervisors, your personal project coordinators, no one is going to come after you and be like, hey, did you do the work? You have to do it yourself, quite frankly, and you have to make sure yourself that you're getting the work done. You really need to roll up your sleeves and make sure you're getting a really good grade. So utilize the time that you have, because of course in MYP 5 at least, majority of the time you would preferably studying for external exams, but at the end of the day, whenever you get time, do work on your personal project and your e-portfolio, because they can help score your grade, and they are part of your overall 56 scores. So you kind of can't just ignore them, because they hold the same weightage as the exams, a level 7. So this is something I really wanted to put an emphasis on. Another thing I want to put an emphasis on, which I didn't understand at the time, but now looking back I do, it's that do as much as you can for the process journal. Do as much as you can. Make as many evidences as you can, because see, you not be able to, the more the merrier. The more information, the more evidence you have, the better it is, because then you can pick and choose whichever is the most viable, the best option for you. You can use multiple evidences in one strand to really justify your case for whatever you're stating in the report. So again, do as much as you can for the process journal. And if you're a bit confused on how to go about your process journal, this episode is a part 2 of a mini series for the personal project. So go and watch the part 1, where I've gone in a lot of depth about this. But again, do as much as you can for the process journal. It is so important, because you're getting graded on the evidence. You're getting graded on how well you can justify the statements you're making. This is non-negotiable. So definitely help go through those. Okay, next thing. Do surveys. Surveys are a great way of showing your progress and where your final product or project ended. So you can do one survey for criteria B strand 1 or even strand 2, and for criteria strand 2 you have to do a survey either way, because you need to get your product analyzed and evaluated by an external force. This could be your peers, basically your target audience, could be an expert, could be a teacher reviewing it. But do surveys, because surveys really help get an idea of, okay, you made this thing, but was it effective? Was it fulfilling the purpose? And you can only get that from other people's point of view, right? Also, don't only show positive results, but also show negative results, so that you can show that there's room for improvement and growth, because there's always room for improvement and growth. Once you show your Google form, you can see that they will be like a pie chart of the responses filled, and you can show that. So let's say 60% voted that this product is fulfilling the aesthetics criteria, but 40% think that it's not. And then you can discuss in criteria C strand 2 that even though majority voted that this is the product's aesthetic is going well, it's good, but they're also still kind of 40%, a big majority in a way too, which are like, it's actually not as aesthetically pleasing. And you can say that if you were to do the project again, or if you were to continue in the future, you would work on the aesthetics and you will fix maybe the font if you're making a book or something. So definitely show the room and the growth, because that is a vital part, because the whole bottom line or the whole crux of this project is to not only grow as a person, but also to understand where you're lacking and where you can improve. So definitely show positive as well as negative results. Show a mixture. Don't show a very biased point of view. Okay, I think I've spent a lot of time on this. The next thing I want to discuss, and I think this is so useful for people who are visual learners like myself, go through sample reports which got a 7. you should ideally be going through 2 to 3 sample reports, because they'll give you ideas. They'll give you ideas for what your process journal should look like, what evidences you should add, how you can make those evidences, how you should phrase things like your conclusion, or anything, how you can phrase it to make it seem a bit better. Because again, you have 15 pages, you have to get to the point. What I did was I went through 2 reports that I highly relied on. One report showed me the Cornell method of taking down notes, which I believe is very popular, but I used that in my report as an evidence, so that's something I learned from a level 7 report. Another report that was shared with me was actually level 6, but I used the success criteria, the product criteria table from that report, and it really helped me because I just could not for the life of me understand how to kind of put everything together, the product criteria and the analysis. But when I looked through an example, it really helped me put things into, the report. It really helped me understand how I can organize this information better and more effectively. So when you go through 2 to 3 samples, it gives you more ideas of what you can do and or how you can improve what you're already doing. And of course, if you're someone who's a visual learner or who learns with examples, this would be kind of your go-to way, because they got a 7, so it's a guaranteed win, right? But you can also ask your supervisor and your personal project coordinator to approve if they think that this is the way to go for you. And you can also ask them. I'm sure they have samples from other schools or previous years who got 7s and 6s, so you should definitely go through those. But I mean, of course, it's ideal if you go through level 7 reports, because your aim should be level 7. To continue, another really important tip would be to upload extra documents that are optional, as they help score better. You have to add your bibliography in any event. That goes into a separate document, not the report. And of course you have to, otherwise they'll think you plagiarized. But another really important thing is that if you, for example, were to make a physical model and you made a video of it, or you made a PDF of, let's say, a cookbook, because I did make a cookbook, then do upload that as well. Do upload it so the examiner can look at it and also see that, okay, in the personal project report you discussed making this product through these requirements you had for it, this product criteria, this success criteria, and this is the end product, so they can see where you started with where you started off and where you ended, and that can maybe also help you score better. Some of the documents the IB doesn't require per se, but of course they can help you score better. The IB themselves they have a document for supervisor meetings. I'm not sure if that is a requirement or if it's optional, but either way you should upload it. Like, no doubt, whenever something is optional, it's not. Do it. It will help you score better, believe me. And okay, another very important aspect, this kind of comes under the process journal, but keep taking screenshots or pictures of the process, because that also helps score better. I learned this from Design ePortfolio mainly, but if you're making, let's say your personal project was to grow a plant over the course of 3 months, of course, keep taking pictures of the process, and maybe you wanted to evaluate different variables if you wanted this to be a bit more scientific. Your control variable could be like the amount of water you give it, or whatever, something along the lines, right? So you could definitely use that as an evidence by showing the change or showing the process of the plant, or whatever that you're growing, because it will show it growing quite literally. So that can also help you score better. Taking pictures and keeping track of the process always does help score better. So I would definitely advise you to go through that. Okay, next up is, if anyone tells you to do something that is optional, still do it. Okay, actually just discussed this. I do think that is true. Nothing is optional. If they say it's optional, it's not. You have to do it because, for example, if something in your report lacks, then an additional document can definitely compensate for it, so definitely go through this. Okay, now let me explain to you what the sampling process is. If you're not aware of the sampling process, it's basically that IB has a portal. The school will upload every single document onto this portal, right? And they will select like about 5 reports at random, and only those 5 reports will be examined by the IB, not everyone's. Now, okay, I agree that is not fair, but I'm also happy that my report was sampled, so I got my grade on merit, right? Now, this is the thing. There are different points, for example, for different grade boundaries. For example, level 7 can range from 20 marks to 24 marks, right? And everyone will be predicted something along the lines that will fall to like a high 7, low 7, high 6, low 6. So your friends and you will be ranked somewhere near each other, right? And now here's the thing. It's either yours getting sampled or not yours. Depends on your class size. If your class size is fairly smaller, then there's a chance that you could get it. Of course, you could do the probability analysis and figure that out, but it is definitely at random. So, help your friends out, because I've seen this happen where there will be 2 people predicted the same grade, like for example 22 out of 24, but if one person's report isn't up to that par, then the other people's grades will also decrease automatically. So if you feel like you're doing better than someone, or your supervisor, or definitely your personal project coordinator, if they've said that this other person, your friend, kind of needs a bit more help, maybe they're stuck somewhere or they're confused, help them out, because you're helping yourself out, but obviously always help other people out too when they're in need. This is, something you're like kind of literally relying on someone without even knowing who you're relying on. So help each other out, because for example, I didn't understand how to make the product timeline. I was a bit confused, and my friend helped me out and she showed me hers, and then I used her formatting. So help each other out. It's obviously going to do wonders. And my last tip for today, take your friends' help as well. Help each other out. It's gonna be very useful at the end, because you also learn how to make tables and stuff at the end, because you're also going to be interchangeably using this for your arts or design e-portfolio, especially design. I can't vouch for arts e-portfolio because I didn't take arts, I took design, but again, help others and also take their help, so all of you can kind of get to the highest grade that you can. So don't sabotage anyone. Help them. Anyways, this is all for today, guys. I really hope this was useful. If you want more tips, you can DM me and request kind of a part 2 of this. Again, if you have any questions and if you want to see my personal project report, you can DM me on Instagram at the IB Odyssey Podcast, and I will for sure help you out. I'll email it to you or whatever works. So yeah, bye everyone. I hope you have a great day, and I really hope this was useful.